It is your nature to roam the divine cosmos freely. July 22, 2014. Within the illusion, time expands and contracts. It is unreal and unreliable, and yet as you experience it, it appears to move in a regular and linear fashion from the past, with all its memories, momentarily and continuously through the present, and into the uncertainty of a future that you try to forecast and pin down. And then something quite unexpected occurs. And that is one extremely good reason for living in the now. If you make a point of living in this now moment and dealing with events, situations, issues, and problems as they occur, relying on your intuition, the wisdom of your real self, all will flow far more smoothly for you. Trying to second-guess what may happen tomorrow, next week, or next year intensifies the levels of stress that you experience through living in the darkness of the illusion. Darkness because the light of God's love is hidden from you by the cloak or fog of the illusion. To see clearly you have to leave the illusion and all its concepts and logic far behind you. All the inspiring insights that the great minds among you have discovered over the eons have been revealed to them when they were not anchored by the limits that the illusion imposes upon you, but when they were as it were roaming free through the cosmos of their unlimited minds, ignoring all the preconceptions and cultural beliefs that may have suggested that what they were seeking was an impossible dream, unreal, a myth. It is your nature to roam the divine cosmos freely, unfettered by logical human thought that invents rules based on inadequate understanding, which then severely limits your creative abilities. Rules restrain and limit you unnaturally. They are, however, very convenient aspects of the illusion where separation seems substantial and tangible, and they provide a framework that ensures, for instance, that people driving motor vehicles do not, on the whole, collide with each other because they are all following the same rules in a rather crowded environment. That aspect of rules is very useful as you struggle with the stresses and anxieties of daily living, because it provides guidelines that enable you to be reasonably certain that your personal safety is assured. What has happened over the eons is that many of the rules and regulations have become an inflexible and unquestioned overlay to all that you do, rather like an open prison, severely restricting your creative abilities in the form of imaginary blockages to progress. It is a bit like being in a room with many doors or exits, all but one of which are wide open, and you can only see the one that is closed and think that you are therefore unable to leave. In the last few decades there has been enormous growth in the numbers questioning all the rules, and this is very healthy. God created you free. You chose to restrict yourselves by building the illusion and enclosing yourselves within it, and finally you are questioning it on a massive scale and coming to a collective realization that it is an asylum for the insane. It was insane to build the illusion. It was a totally unrealistic and impossible attempt to separate yourselves from God because He is all that exists, and therefore separation from Him is impossible. He created you in love and gave you everything that He had, infinite love, infinite wisdom, infinite knowledge, infinite power, and endless creative abilities and opportunities, and you chose to leave them all behind and enclose yourselves in a state of unreality where you eschewed those gifts to engage in the competitive destruction of one another, endlessly throughout the eons. It matters not what you achieve through your constant and determined human efforts, wealth, position, recognition, power, because all of these are ephemeral, they do not and cannot last, and the very limited satisfaction that they provide fades rapidly. Your true home is with God, you know that, and nothing else can ever satisfy your intense need to be one once more with Him. It has taken a long time for you to come to that realization and make the collective choice and decision to engage once again with love, so that the illusion can dissolve back into the nothingness from which you imagined it into existence. Every moment you spend within, in your quiet inner sanctuary, intending to be loving, compassionate, and accepting, accelerates the rate at which the illusion is crumbling. All the spiritual channels, all those in the spiritual realms keep stressing the vital importance of attending to your personal spiritual practices daily because that is how you awaken. It expresses an overriding intent to awaken, to know and experience the reality and the oneness that is your real and eternal nature. It is what everyone who ever engaged with the illusion has sought and is seeking. Deep within every sentient being is the knowing that you are one with God, the source from which all that exists flows in endless love. By choosing to give credence to the illusion, you have hidden that knowing from yourselves, and it is that apparent loss that is so painful for you. Nothing can be satisfactorily substituted for that all-encompassing sense of acceptance that oneness and the love that is its nature provides, nothing. And there is only oneness, there is no beyond or outside, no past or future, there is just now at one with Source. When you awaken, as you will, the joy and wonder that replaces all your doubts, anxieties, and fears, will enfold you in a state of unimaginable ecstatic bliss. Go within daily, hourly if you can, and bring it to fruition, because that is what you are here to do. Your loving brother, Jesus. Channeled by John Smallman. johnsmallman2.wordpress.com